Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down something I think we've all felt, the emotional roller coaster of a modern digital relationship. That story that pretty much lives right here inside our phones. Okay, so let's just jump right in. The source material makes this really powerful point. It doesn't matter if you meet in a mall or if a friend sets you up. The real story, the foundation of it all, it starts right here on WhatsApp. So where does a story like this even begin? Well, it's with something super simple, almost transactional. Just getting that phone number. I mean, really think about that for a second. That simple act, just sharing a few digits, it's like a key that unlocks this brand new, totally private world between two people. It's the modern way of asking for a dance, right? Okay, so you've got the number. Now we get to the really exciting part. That first phase of communication, where an entire world opens up from just one little word. You know what I'm talking about, that first message. Just a simple hi, but wow, it is packed with so much anticipation, so much excitement. It's this tiny little word that carries this huge weight of what could be. And this slide just lays out that cycle of excitement so perfectly. First, you work up the courage to send hi. Then, that heart-stopping moment when you see their typing. Then bam, you get a reply right away. And you can't help it, right? You just smile. It's a perfect little adrenaline rush. So pretty soon, those simple little chats, they start to change. They're not just messages anymore. They become something way deeper, way more immersive. It's like you're building a whole universe just for the two of you. And what's happening here is you're building this really unique kind of intimacy, digital intimacy. With every single question you ask and every answer you get, that connection just gets deeper. You're slowly kind of surrendering little pieces of yourself, one text at a time. And this quote, this is so good because it perfectly captures that honeymoon phase, that idealization part of a new relationship. Everything they say just seems so witty and smart and perfect. It feels like every single reply is exactly the one you were hoping for. And then the relationship really starts to take shape with these daily rituals, right? You've got the constant good morning texts, the never-ending questions back and forth, the heart emojis everywhere. You're even planning the first real date right there in the chat. And that whole chat history, it stops being just a chat. It turns into a shared memory, like a digital diary of your story together. But as things get deeper and more serious, something else starts to creep in. It's almost inevitable, right? A new element enters the story, and the whole tone of the conversation starts to shift. So the whole dynamic changes. All that constant affection, the good morning texts, the heart emojis, well, now it has to share space with something new, conflict. Our source material calls it takrar, which is basically when arguments and disagreements start popping up right there in the chat. And here's the thing, those arguments, they get woven right into the fabric of your chat history. They live there forever, time-stamped and everything, sitting right next to all the happy memories and the inside jokes. Which brings us to what might be the most painful and definitely the most modern dilemma of all. What happens when, or if, it all ends? You're faced with this huge, really agonizing question. What are you supposed to do with this digital archive of your entire relationship? Every high, every low, every single memory. And it's all just sitting there, right in your pocket. The source describes this so powerfully. It talks about a physical reaction, how your hand literally trembles over the delete button. It's this moment of just profound difficulty. You just can't bring yourself to erase it all. Now, it's important to say this kind of agony isn't for everyone, right? It's not for the casual daters or for people who, as the source puts it, change partners like clothes. No, this is for the people who are really in it, the ones who invested their hearts and for whom that connection was incredibly significant. Yeah, for those people, letting go is a whole process. It's painful. It means rereading that chat history over and over, maybe thousands of times. You have to relive the entire story before you can even think about making that final brutal decision to hit delete. So, after all that, after this whole emotional roller coaster, what's the takeaway? What's the lesson in all of this? Well, in the end, it seems the lesson is that every story, even a really painful one, teaches you something. Even if that whole relationship only exists in a chat log that's now gone forever, it taught you something. It's a lesson that becomes a part of you. And so we're going to end with a question that our source leaves us with, a question that brings this whole thing right back to you. Because this story, this digital life cycle of love and loss, it's something so many of us have gone through. So has this ever happened to you? Have you ever felt this?